Your dad's such a loser, mine's a surgeon, yours just resets routers. That's what I heard through the damn vent, and that was the moment I knew I was done being their damn doormat. Last year, I was pulling a 14-hour day, my third network install of the week in the middle of a triple-digit Florida summer inside some retired crypto bros mansion where every single device had to be connected to the blockchain, whatever the hell that means. I was sweaty, tired, and smelled like a damn server room when I got home. I didn't expect a parade, but I didn't expect what I heard through the wall either. Riley and Jordan, my twin girls, technically my stepdaughters, but I never treated them like that, not once. I raised those girls since they were in footy pajamas since their bio dad vanished into the sunset with a bottle of tequila and a Tinder date. But apparently I'm just that tech guy their mom settled for. They were laughing, mocking my job, my clothes, my beat-up Chevy van with the busted AC and the Land God bumper sticker. I bet he doesn't even make six figures, Riley said, and Jordan snorted like I was a freaking charity case. I just stood there, sweat still clinging to my neck, holding a box of pizza I'd picked up for them. Pepperoni, Jordan's favorite, and for what? To be the punchline. WTF, just, what the actual fuck? 10 years ago, Vanessa. Their mom was still waitressing at a Waffle House double shift when I met her. 2 girls under 7. No help, no health insurance. Her ex ghosted her like a damn pro. She looked exhausted when we met, beautiful but bone-tired. I wasn't looking for anything serious, but damn, she had fire. You know that kind of woman who can burn toast and still make you want to marry her? That was her. We took things slow. I'd bring little gadgets for the girls, take them to the park so she could nap, fix her busted laptop even before we kissed. Within 6 months, they were living with me. Within 2 years, I'd adopted the twins, changed their last names, paid for their braces, their dance recitals, their goddamn Taylor Swift phase. And I never once reminded them that their real dad skipped town with 0 child support, never made them feel like they owed me. Just wanted to be dad. No asterisk. Present day. Now I'm the butt of a joke. A walking router. The poor stepdad who smells like Ethernet cable. Nah, screw that. The next day I made a list. Not a petty one. Not a burn their makeup and throw their laptops in the pool kind of list. A plan. A blueprint for the biggest soft-core revenge move of my entire adult life. Operation Disconnection. Step 1. Pull the plug literally and financially. I started by rerouting my direct deposit, 80% to a new account in just my name. The rest, just enough to keep the lights on and the fridge stocked with off-brand cereal. Not a damn dime more. Step 2. No more premium Wi-Fi. Downgraded that thing to a plan that couldn't stream YouTube in 360p without buffering. You want to mock my job? Then enjoy lag, ladies. Step 3. Groceries. No more avocado toast kits, no more $6 oat milk. Hello store brand. Hello frozen waffles. Hello economic reality. This morning Jordan held up the cereal box like it was a dead animal. What is this? Where's the cinnamon toast crunch? I shrugged. That's budget brand sugar swirls. It tastes like humility. She blinked. I can't eat this. I sipped my gas station coffee and said, you can always buy your own. Dead silence. Welcome to the first day of adulthood, sweetheart. Later that week, Riley needed $500 for a photography class deposit. I told her I'd cover it if she made a spreadsheet showing her budget expenses and why she couldn't work a few hours at the coffee shop nearby. She said I was being unreasonable. I said I'm being a father, not a financier. Vanessa pulled me aside later, all hushed voice and concern. You okay, babe? You've been acting different. Yeah, I'm okay, just finally done financing disrespect. She didn't get it, not yet, but she would. 1 week later. Okay, let me paint a scene for you. It's Sunday morning. I'm in my garage wiping dust off some old server drives I was thinking of selling. My shirt's still damp from mowing the lawn because apparently no one else knows how a damn lawnmower works. I'm trying to chill, maybe grab a slice of leftover pizza before diving into invoices when Jordan walks in, fake cheerful like she's in a toothpaste commercial. Hey, Dad, she sings songs. You know the voice, the one that means one thing, she wants something. I look up. She's holding her phone like it's a dying puppy. So, my screen cracked. Totally an accident, but like, I need a new phone before Monday. Group chat, school stuff, you get it. I stare at her for a second. Not even a hi, how was your day? Just straight into tech support and Bank of Dad mode. You drop it, I ask, already knowing. Well, yeah, but it wasn't my fault. Let me guess, I cut in gravity, attacked you out of nowhere. She blinks. No, just, I tripped. I sighed. Jordan, I'm not buying you a new phone. Not this time. Her jaw literally unhinges. Are you serious? But it's just a phone. I laugh. A bitter little chuckle. You know what's just a phone? The one I had at your age. Flipped open. Could barely text. No front camera. I paid for it by cleaning carpets with my uncle. She stomps out without another word. I hear her muttering, unbelievable, as if I just said no to a kidney transplant. Monday, the Wi-Fi went out at 7:42 a.m. I know the time because both girls screamed like they'd seen a ghost. I didn't plan the outage, it was just perfect cosmic timing. But I sure as hell didn't rush to fix it either. Dad, Riley shouts. The internet is dead. Can you call the provider or something? I have to submit my film portfolio tonight? I sipped my coffee and said, I'm sure the provider has a helpline. Maybe check their app. She stares at me like I spoke Klingon. I can't check the app, Dad. The Wi-Fi is down. I gesture toward the router. Then call them. Or use mobile data. Not my problem. She looks genuinely offended. Like I've broken some sacred household code. Seriously, you're not even gonna try. I lean back. I fix tech for a living, Riley. I'm just done fixing attitudes for free. Boom. Mic drop. You could hear her ego crack in real time. That night, Vanessa pulled me aside again. I get that you're upset, she said, folding laundry like the world's most exhausted diplomat. But they're just being teenagers. You're taking this really far. I raised an eyebrow. They're not toddlers, Ness. They're 17. If they're old enough to call me an embarrassment behind my back, they're old enough to learn consequences. But you're punishing them for venting. Vent all you want, I said, but don't bite the hand that feeds you and then ask it to buy you an iPhone. She went quiet after that, not because she agreed, but because she knew I wasn't budging. 2 weeks in, the cracks were showing. Not just on Jordan's busted phone screen, but everywhere. The fridge was filled with budget brand groceries. The house hadn't been cleaned top to bottom in a minute because guess what? I stopped doing everything. No more midnight dishwasher runs. No more 5 a.m. grocery trips because someone forgot oat milk. I stopped saying yes before they even finished asking. And you know what? The silence started creeping in. Not angry silence. Just unfamiliar. No more demands. No sarcastic thanks, Dad. Just side eyes and whispered phone calls behind closed doors. Riley didn't ask for help with her Adobe license. Jordan tried to apply for a part-time gig at the juice bar, but bailed after the manager asked her about flexible weekend availability. They were flailing, and I wasn't throwing out a lifeline. Then it happened. Friday night, I came home to find Vanessa sitting on the couch red-eyed. Riley was in her room sobbing loud enough for the whole street to hear. What now? I asked, exhausted. Vanessa just handed me a crumpled envelope. A rejection letter from one of Riley's dream schools. She missed the deadline because her portfolio didn't go through. I looked at it, then at Vanessa, and she worked really hard on that film. I scoffed. But not hard enough to stop trash-talking her dad. Not hard enough to find a coffee shop Wi-Fi hotspot. Come on, this isn't my fault. She's devastated, Marcus. I wanted to yell, to shake them all and scream. I've been devastated for months. Ever since I stood outside that kitchen and heard myself get dragged like some loser plumber who didn't belong in their curated little life. But I didn't yell. I just nodded, tossed the letter on the coffee table, and walked away. That weekend, Jordan came to me, which shocked the hell out of me. She looked different. No eyeliner, no curled hair, just a hoodie and that look you get when life hits you in the face with a frying pan. Dad, she said, I'm sorry. I was a brat. I said things I didn't mean. We did. I didn't interrupt. I just listened. We were just angry, stupid. We didn't think you'd hear, but you did. And we get why you're mad. I exhaled. I'm not mad. I'm just tired. Tired of giving everything to people who think I'm a joke. She nodded. We're gonna get jobs. I blinked. We? Riley too. She's applying at the movie theater. I got hired at Juice Bomb. I swear I almost smiled. $12 an hour, she added. Not glamorous, but it's mine. And just like that, the tone shifted. Not because they got it overnight, but because they were starting to learn nothing is owed. Epilogue. For now. I didn't cave. I didn't hand them money or upgrade the router or pay off anyone's cracked phone, but I did one thing. I printed out a quote I saw online, taped it to the fridge. Respect isn't bought, it's earned, and it goes both ways. They haven't torn it down. Yet. But I noticed something the next morning. Jordan washed the dishes. Riley made coffee for me, and Vanessa? She didn't say much, but she left a post-it on my laptop. You were right, they needed to grow up, and I needed to let them. 3 weeks later. So, here's the kicker. No one tells you about drawing boundaries with people you love. You don't get applause. You get awkward silences, side eyes, passive-aggressive dinner questions like, "Did we always buy this brand of ketchup, or is the water pressure lower lately?" Yes, and yes, because dad's not your unpaid concierge anymore. But the weird part? The shift was working. Jordan didn't just stay at Juice Bomb. She started trading shifts, waking up early, folding her work shirts. She even bought her own shoes instead of begging for that $90 pair of Nikes she absolutely needed 2 months ago. Riley wasn't far behind. She took that theater job and suddenly became obsessed with budgeting apps. She came home smelling like popcorn and regret, but sat down every Sunday to do her finance night. You have no idea how long I waited for that moment. I didn't gloat, but I did start drinking my coffee a little slower in the morning. Savoring it. Then it happened. One night I heard Vanessa whispering on the phone. Thought it was her sister or maybe her work group chat. Nope, it was her ex. The bio dad. Mr. Disappeared when things got real. She didn't know I heard. I just stood outside the hallway same as that day by the kitchen, listening in as she said things like, "Yeah, I know it's been a long time," and "No, they don't know. I called and maybe just start with an email." My stomach dropped. Because what the hell? After all these years, after I raised those girls, cleaned up their puke, sat through every cringy recital, paid for retainers' field trips and mental breakdowns, now she's opening the door for him. I didn't storm in, I didn't scream, I just waited. The next day, I asked her straight up, "You talking to him again?" She froze, then nodded. I didn't want to hide it, I just thought, maybe they deserve to know where they came from. "Oh," I said. "Calm. Now we care about origins." She sighed, "Don't do this. No, you did this. After everything. You didn't think maybe I deserved a heads up before you invited the deadbeat back into our lives like it's some Lifetime movie reunion." She didn't answer. She didn't have to. That night I pulled the folder out of the locked drawer in my garage. The adoption papers, the receipts, the birth certificates with my last name, 12 years of proof. Just in case. Friday, Riley came home looking pale. She dropped her bag by the door, walked into the kitchen and said, "So, Mom told us." I didn't respond. She said our bio dad might want to meet up, talk, just to see. Still quiet. She looked like she wanted to apologize and ask permission at the same time. "Would that bother you?" she asked. I paused. I don't get to be bothered. Apparently I'm just the IT guy with the spare room. Her eyes filled instantly. "That's not fair." I looked her straight in the face. "Neither was hearing you say I wasn't your real dad." She flinched. I added, "But I'm not stopping you. You want to meet him? Go, just don't expect me to be waiting around if he turns out to be who he's always been." She nodded slowly and left the room. And yeah, that one hurt like hell. The week that followed, Vanessa and I barely spoke. The girls were walking on eggshells trying to pretend like the house wasn't colder than a mid-January breakup. Then Saturday rolled around and everything imploded. Jordan didn't show up for her shift. Riley came home crying. I thought maybe the reunion with bio dad went sideways. I was wrong. She'd gone to see him. At some flashy brunch spot downtown, like the guy earned mimosas and reconciliation. According to Riley, he showed up late, made 2 jokes about how time flies, and then "This is real" asked if she wanted to take a TikTok selfie so he could make up for lost time. Then he tried to Venmo her $20 and said he'd catch her next time. I was in the garage when she told me, just quietly sanding an old piece of wood for a shelf I'll probably never finish. She stood in the doorway shaking. I thought maybe he changed. I didn't say "I told you so," I didn't gloat. I just set the sandpaper down and said, "Now you know." That night, we were eating leftover pasta. Nobody was talking. Even the TV was off. Then Jordan spoke. "Dad." I looked up. "I don't want to see him." My throat tightened. "Okay. I want to talk to the adoption lawyer. I want it in writing. That you're the only one who gets a say in my life." Vanessa blinked. Riley froze. "And I cried. Not loud, not dramatic. Just a quiet drop of salt in a room that finally understood who the hell I was to this family. Not a placeholder. Not a temp, but a father. Monday, I walked into the girls' room that morning and dropped 2 envelopes on their nightstand. One was from a savings account, each had a balance. Not massive, but enough. The other was a note. "This is your hard-earned future. I'll still help when I can. But you've proven you don't need handouts to succeed. You just needed reality. And maybe a little Wi-Fi." There was a sticky note underneath. "P.S. Proud of you, but no, I'm still not fixing the router." They laughed, actually laughed. And for once it didn't feel like mockery. This evening Vanessa and I talked. A real talk. The kind we hadn't had since before prom dress meltdowns and college essay chaos. She admitted she panicked. That seeing the girls struggle made her feel like she failed. Like we failed. And reaching out to him was, I asked. A moment of weakness, she whispered, a really stupid one. I didn't forgive her on the spot. That's not how forgiveness works. But I saw the guilt. I saw the honesty. And I saw something else. Fear. That she'd broken what we built. So I told her, one more secret like that and I'm not just cutting the Wi-Fi, I'm cutting us loose. She nodded, fair. Last line. Tonight I tucked the folder back into the drawer, put the lock back on, and for the first time in weeks, I sat in the living room, kicked my feet up and watched TV with my daughters. No drama, no noise, just a rerun of some sitcom none of us really liked, but suddenly it felt right. Like maybe the joke wasn't on me anymore. Maybe I was finally in on it. 2 weeks later, you ever hit that weird limbo where life isn't exactly good, but at least no one's yelling, slamming doors, or accusing you of ruining their teenage years with off-brand cereal? Yeah, that was our house. Quiet, uneasy, but functional. Jordan was still at Juice Bomb, even got promoted to shift lead. Riley still juggling the movie theater and finishing her portfolio on free Canva instead of the overpriced Adobe suite. Progress, right? But it was still fragile. Like walking on new ice, quiet, shiny, but crackable with one wrong step. Monday morning, I got a call from an old client. The one with the koi pond that needs an entire LAN upgrade every time the weather changes. Guy's a retired hedge fund manager built like a walking tax loop, but weirdly generous. Says he's got a situation. I swing by. Turns out he's got a friend who owns a boutique cybersecurity firm. They're looking for someone to manage high-profile home networks for select clientele. Think musicians, actors, tech CEOs with AI paranoia. No HR, no stuffy meetings, no suits, just high-end freelance consulting with a retainer that would make my old paycheck look like a grocery receipt. You'd be perfect, he says. You're discreet professional, and frankly, you know your SAT. I blink. This isn't a prank. He laughs. Do I look like I prank people? This is real. Think about it. I said I'd think, but I already knew. That night I sat the girls down. Not with a lecture, just a conversation. Got offered a new gig. Better money. Better clients. Might mean I'm gone more on weekends. Might even move my office downtown. Jordan looked up. Like a real office. I smiled. With a coffee machine, maybe even a fish tank. Riley leaned forward. What does that mean for us? I shrugged. Means I'll have a little less time. A little more pressure. And I won't be around to spot you $20 every time Starbucks drops a new seasonal drink. She snorted. So, nothing new. We laughed. But then Jordan said something that stopped me. We can help. I raised a brow. Help? Like the house, groceries, errands, stuff. I just stared. She blinked. Unless that's weird. No, I said, voice thick. It's not weird, it's overdue. 3 days later, Vanessa brought in a letter. Handwritten. Sloppy penmanship. Smelled like cheap cologne and desperation. From Biodad. Apparently he wanted a second chance. Said he wasn't ready to be a dad before, but maybe now I could just be around. He even included a photo of himself on a boat. Jordan read the letter and rolled her eyes so hard I thought they'd get stuck. Riley crumpled it up mid-sentence and tossed it in the trash. No drama, no speech. Just done. Progress. The college letter. It came in a thick envelope. Krusty. The dream school. The one Riley swore she'd never get into. The one she said I'd never understand. I walked into the kitchen and found her sitting at the table staring at it like it was radioactive. You open it, I asked. She shook her head. I don't think I can. I sat across from her, didn't say a word. She finally ripped it open. I saw the tears first, then the smile. Then the scream that rattled every window in the house. I got in, she shouted. Jordan ran in and tackled her like a linebacker. Vanessa started crying. Me. I just sat there. Quiet, proud, and yeah, I'll admit it, grinning like a damn idiot. Until Riley looked at me. Dad, she said, it's $75,000 a year. And just like that, the high crashed. That weekend we had the talk. I showed her what I'd saved. Not enough, not even close. She offered to defer, to try for scholarships, to work more. But she didn't ask me to fix it. Didn't guilt trip me. Didn't whine. She just started making a plan. And that's when I knew the revenge. The lesson. It worked. Sunday morning, I checked the mailbox and found a check. From the hedge fund guy. A signing bonus. 10 grand. Just for agreeing to the new job. I called him. You sure about this? I asked. He chuckled. Marcus, if I had 10 of you, I could retire again. I cashed it the next day. Half went into Riley's tuition. Half went into an envelope I dropped on Jordan's desk with a note. For whenever you figure out what lights you up. No pressure, but I believe in it whatever it is. She found me in the garage an hour later. Didn't say a word, just hugged me, tight. Like I mattered again. Like I was real. That night, Vanessa asked me how I felt. About the job, the girls, everything. I feel seen, I said. She nodded. You should, you did the hard thing. I almost broke the family. No, she said. You rebuilt it. Today the router is working, the fridge is full, the girls are saving, laughing, living. I haven't heard the word embarrassing in months. Hell, Riley even asked if she could intern with my new company, said she wanted to learn network security fundamentals. Her words, not mine. Jordan's thinking of starting a food blog. She bought a $20 ring light off Facebook Marketplace and made her first post about juice bar trauma. She titled it Humble Pie Pairs Well with Orange Carrot Crush. Yeah, she gets it now. And me. I'm not just fixing routers anymore. I'm building futures, mine, theirs, hell maybe even Vanessa's if she decides to go back to school like she always talked about. I got business cards, real ones. Marcus Lane, Personal Network Architect, Legacy Tech and Security Solutions. Sounds fancy. But at the core, still the same guy who learned how to make Wi-Fi stretch through concrete walls and make teenage daughters respect a working man. Closing line. Tonight they used to laugh at me. Now they carry my name like armor. Now they call me dad like it's the highest title they know. And you know what? Damn right it is. 2 months later. So we were doing good. Too good. You know that moment in movies where everything's peaceful and then some asshole from Act 1 shows up to ruin it? Yeah, that. It started with a Facebook message. Vanessa got it first, then Jordan, then Riley. Like a damn virus. He was in town. He wanted to catch up. He missed them. Missed them. Dude didn't send a birthday text in 12 years, and now suddenly he's feeling sentimental over brunch and Facebook memories. Nah, screw that. Thursday, Vanessa pulled me aside. He wants to see them one time just to talk. I didn't even look at her. And you're okay with that? She hesitated. I'm not thrilled, but they're grown now. I can't stop them. Did you tell him no? I told him it was up to them. Which fine, that's fair. But I knew that answer. That silence. It meant she was scared to say no, because maybe part of her still felt guilty for choosing me over him all those years ago. Spoiler, I don't play that game anymore. That night, the girls sat me down, all serious, like they were planning a hostage negotiation. Dad Riley started, "We're not replacing you, we just want to understand for closure." I didn't argue, didn't tell them they were being naive, just nodded. Meet him in public, I said. Daylight. Full battery on your phones. 1 hour max. If he says one weird thing, you leave. No drama, just bounce. Jordan blinked. You're not mad. I'm not mad, I said. I'm watching. There's a difference. Saturday, the meetup. They chose a cafe downtown. Open patio. Broad daylight. Classy. I didn't go, but I did drive them. Watched from across the street. Yeah, call me overprotective. Call me petty. But I earned the right to care, and I wasn't going to watch someone walk back into their lives without showing his damn work. He pulled up in a leased Benz, wore a blazer like he was still 25 and relevant. From across the street, I could see the girls were stiff, smiling but cold, controlled. He leaned in like he was pitching something. Riley pulled out a notebook. Jordan crossed her arms. He looked nervous. Good. 42 minutes in. They stood up. No hugs, no selfie. Walked back to the car like they'd just sat through a group project with the world's worst partner. I waited. Let them breathe. Then asked, "You good?" Jordan nodded. "He's full of shit." Riley snorted. "He brought a pitch deck, Dad. A literal binder. Said he wanted to build a legacy fund with our names on it for social media exposure." I blinked. "He wanted to use you." Jordan said, "He wants to be the cool comeback dad. Says it's good optics for his personal brand." I laughed. I couldn't help it. "That's cute," I said. "Did you tell him what you thought?" "Oh," Riley grinned. "I told him I already have a legacy. His name's Marcus and he doesn't need a fucking pitch deck." I damn near drove off the road. Sunday, we thought that was it. But people like him, they don't go quietly. He sent Vanessa a voicemail, drunk, slurring, half crying, talking about parental rights and being erased. Then he did the unthinkable. He emailed my clients, or tried to, claimed I wasn't legally their father, said I had a record, which was bullshit, said I wasn't to be trusted in high-value homes. One client called me confused. Another forwarded the email. He signed it concerned biological parent. Concerned my ass. That night I called him. Not texted. Not emailed. Called. He picked up. Probably thought it was one of the girls. Hey, listen, man, he started. I didn't let him finish. You ever contact my family again? I said slow and calm, and I'll bury you in legal paperwork so deep you'll think you're being audited by God. He went quiet. You didn't raise them. You didn't feed them. You didn't hold their hands at funerals or sit through 6-hour ER visits because Jordan thought she swallowed a Lego. Still nothing. You want a legacy. Earn it. You want relevance. Start a podcast. But you come near my clients again, and I swear to every judge in this county, I'll drop your name in every damn courtroom like it's the fucking weather. Then I hung up. No screaming. No threats. Just clarity. And silence. Monday. The girls heard about the emails. Jordan saw a Reddit thread from one of my clients praising me for handling it with integrity and brutal elegance. She read it out loud at dinner. Then she raised her glass of iced tea. To the only dad who never had to be asked twice. I nearly choked. Riley added, and the only one who doesn't need a Benz to prove he matters. Even Vanessa smiled. Quiet, proud, a little guilty but mostly grateful. She reached for my hand. I should have shut him down earlier. You did what you thought was right, I said. Then I added, but next time you don't ask permission to protect your kids from bullshit, you do it. She nodded. Lesson learned. Epilogue for now. He hasn't tried again. No calls, no emails, no fake GoFundMes or rebranding as a dadfluencer. Maybe he finally got the message. Or maybe he finally understood that some stories don't need a redemption arc, just an ending. Closing scene. I came home from work last night to find a package on my desk. From Riley. Inside was a framed photo. Me covered in sweat holding a busted router in one hand and a coffee cup in the other. The caption. The man who built a legacy one Ethernet cable at a time. Below that, we never needed a pitch deck. We had you. I sat down. Didn't say anything. Just looked at the picture. And yeah, I cried. But not from pain this time. From pride. 2 months later, the house was quiet. Not awkward quiet, not cold quiet, just peaceful. It still surprises me sometimes. After all that yelling, crying, door slamming, and dramatic declarations of "you're ruining my life," the calm almost feels like a luxury product I couldn't afford before. Like Wi-Fi that doesn't buffer. Like shoes that don't squeak. Like respect. I used to think peace came after you won something. Now I realize it comes when you let go of trying to prove anything at all. I'm not trying to win anymore. I already did. Graduation day. Jordan was late. Not surprising. The girl could be late to her own funeral. Riley was already in her cap and gown, pacing by the door like a movie director waiting on her lead actress. Vanessa was in the kitchen pinning boutonnieres with that nervous mom energy. You know, the vibe, hair curled too perfect, eyes misty for no reason. Me, I was sitting on the stairs holding 2 envelopes. One for Riley, one for Jordan. Inside a handwritten letter, a check, a promise. 12 years ago, I adopted them thinking I'd never have my own kids. Now I had 2 by love, not blood, and I'd somehow raised women. Not girls, not brats. Women. Jordan finally flew down the stairs like a Category 3 hurricane in heels. Where's my tassel, she yelled. In the bag with your dignity, I muttered. She stuck her tongue out, grabbed her cap, and ran for the car. Yeah, we were good. At the ceremony, they called her name Riley Lane, and I swear to God I forgot how to breathe. The same kid who once mocked me for showing up to her choir concert smelling like Ethernet and sweat was now walking across a stage graduating with honors because I kept showing up. And Jordan, she was next. Not top of the class, not some academic overachiever, but she walked tall, proud. And when she got her diploma, she turned around and winked at me. Like, yeah, I know, I was hell. But look, I made it. I clapped until my hands went numb. Back at home, we had cake. Nothing fancy, store-bought, poorly frosted. But they cut it. Toasted me. Toasted Vanessa, toasted adulthood with sparkling cider that cost more than the cake. Then Jordan handed me an envelope. Inside was a picture. Me asleep in the garage years ago, grease on my face, one hand still on a disconnected modem. Underneath it, she'd written, "You didn't just fix routers, you fixed us." I looked up. Her eyes were glassy, but she was smiling. "You're the reason I didn't burn out, Dad." Riley added, "You're the reason I didn't sell out." Vanessa just squeezed my hand. I couldn't talk. Didn't need to. That night in the garage. That old toolbox still sat in the corner. Same chipped paint, same drawer that never quite shut right. Next to it, a new workbench. The girls pitched in and bought it together. Jordan said she wanted me to have something real to build on now. I didn't tell her that I already did, because they were it. They were my real, not the router installs, not the remodeled bathrooms, not the paychecks or new job title. Them. They were the legacy. 1 week later, Riley packed for Rhode Island. We stood in her room surrounded by half-filled boxes and overpriced dorm supplies. "You scared?" I asked. She nodded, terrified. "You'll be fine." I know she said softer, "because of you." She hesitated. "I know I said stuff, mean stuff, and I know you've forgiven me, but I'm still sorry." I nodded. "Don't be sorry, just be better." She smiled. "Deal." The real goodbye. Jordan left first. Decided to take a gap year and travel with her saved-up juice bomb money, backpacking through Europe. Hostels, street food, a journal, and a playlist of Spotify confidence anthems. She hugged me for 5 straight minutes at the airport. "You'll still be here, right?" she whispered. "Always." Riley left 2 days later. Vanessa flew with her for move-in. I stayed behind. Too many stares, too many emotions. She texted me a picture of her dorm room, then another, then one of my note framed on her desk. "Create something that makes people feel less alone. That's your real degree." Underneath, she added, "You always did." The empty house. It hit like a sucker punch. Not the silence I'd lived with silence before, but the absence. No cereal bowls in the sink, no half-assed laundry piles, no Snapchat filters showing up on my face when I wasn't looking. I didn't miss the chaos. I missed them. But I also knew this. They didn't leave broken. They left whole. They didn't leave rolling their eyes. They left proud. And that's everything. Epilogue. The garage is clean now. Tools on the wall. New bench, organized cables labeled bins. And right in the center, framed above the workstation, "Land God." A custom sign Riley had made. Underneath it, one last sticky note, this one from Jordan. "Legacy. Something you build for people you may never meet, but ours started with you. So, thanks for plugging in." Yeah, I still cry sometimes. And yeah, I still buy store-brand cereal. But now, they eat it with pride, because they get it. Because I didn't just raise daughters, I raised legacy-level women. Closing line. I don't fix routers anymore. I build networks, real ones, the kind that hold families together. Even when the signal gets weak, especially then. Story 2. My name is Maya Harris. I'm 31 years old, 7 months pregnant, and yesterday my family locked me out of my own baby shower. No, not metaphorically, I mean they actually locked the doors while laughing inside eating food. I paid for sipping champagne under decorations I picked out celebrating someone else. My younger sister Natalie. You're probably already guessing where this is going, but I promise you're not ready. Let me rewind. This pregnancy wasn't planned, but it was mine. Every heartbeat I heard at the doctor's office made the chaos worth it. The morning sickness, the swollen ankles, the anxiety, every bit of it reminded me that I was bringing someone into the world who would finally be mine. No conditions, no judgment, just love. That's all I ever wanted growing up. But with my family, love always had strings. Especially with my mom, Deborah. She liked polished things, straight hair, proper husbands, perfect timing. I had none of those. I was single, building a remote business from my apartment, and most importantly, choosing to have this baby anyway. That alone made me a disappointment in her eyes. Still, I wanted to believe she'd come around. I planned my own baby shower because no one offered. I rented the venue, picked the color scheme sage green and pale peach, paid the caterers, even ordered custom cookies with little baby footprints on them. Every detail was something I dreamed about. Mom's only input. A real mother wouldn't need help from anyone else. She didn't lift a finger. But I ignored that. I wanted this day to go smoothly. I wanted to believe maybe for the first time that she'd show up for me. The shower was set for Sunday afternoon. I wore a soft ivory maternity dress, my curls tied back, belly round and proud. I Ubered to the venue with 3 favors still in my tote bag, ready to set them up myself. When I got there, I saw the parking lot already full. My heart jumped. Maybe they'd all surprise me by arriving early. Then I grabbed the door handle and it didn't move. Locked. I blinked confused, tried again, nothing. I knocked. No response. I knocked again, harder. Laughter inside, music. Someone was definitely home. I leaned close and heard something that stopped my heart. A toast. To Natalie and Ethan, may this engagement be the beginning of a beautiful life together. Cheers. Glass clinks. My sister's name, not mine. I knocked louder, now pounding. Finally the door opened. My mother stood there, hair done, makeup flawless, pearl earrings. "Oh," she said, her voice sugar-coated poison. "You actually came." I stared. "What's going on?" She glanced behind her, gave a half-hearted smile. "It's Natalie's engagement party." I blinked. "What happened to the baby shower?" Her tone didn't change. "You wanted a celebration. Here it is. Isn't it beautiful?" I looked past her banners reading, "She said yes." Rose gold balloons all set up under the same arch I had picked out for my shower. My stomach churned. "I paid for this." She didn't flinch. "And we're grateful." Behind her, Natalie waved with a smirk. "Don't be upset, sis. This made more sense. I mean, a wedding comes before a baby, right?" That was the moment it clicked. They had never planned to celebrate me. I wasn't a bride. I wasn't a success story. I was just an inconvenience with a baby bump. But they didn't mind spending my money to toast someone they actually cared about. I felt the sting behind my eyes. But I didn't cry. I smiled. "Okay," I said. My mom squinted. "Okay." I pulled out my phone. They thought I was going to cause a scene. They had no idea I'd prepared for this. I opened my contact list and called a number I saved weeks ago just in case. "Hi, this is Maya. I'm confirming the cancellation." A pause. "Yes," I said. "The event's over. Pull your staff." My mom frowned. "What are you doing?" "Ending the party." And I walked away. 10 minutes later, they were pounding on my door. Literally. My phone had exploded with texts, calls from blocked numbers. Even my aunt sent, "Why is the food gone? The guests are starving." I was still kicking off my shoes when tires screeched outside. 3 cars pulled into the lot, then shouting. I opened the door slowly. Mom, Natalie, my 2 aunts, all red-faced, furious. "You ungrateful little girl," my mom hissed. "You embarrassed the entire family." I leaned against the doorframe, calm, tired, ready. "You mean the party you hijacked, the one I paid for?" Natalie pushed past me. "You ruined the most important moment of my life." I didn't flinch. "Funny, that's what you did to mine." She whirled around, fuming. "It's not the same. An engagement is real. Your baby was a mistake." My heart thudded, and then it stopped aching. "You're right," I said quietly. Then I picked up my phone. This time I played the final card. My lawyer's name lit up the screen. I put him on speaker. "Miss Harris," his voice came through clearly, "all financial ties are now legally dissolved. Any unauthorized use of your name or accounts is documented and being handled." My mom gasped. Natalie's jaw dropped. "You cut us off," she said, her voice cracking. "No," I said. "You did that when you locked me out." Then I shut the door in their faces. It took them less than 24 hours to come unglued. My phone rang every 10 minutes that night. Blocked calls, texts from numbers I didn't know. Social media DMs from distant cousins I hadn't spoken to in years. "Family is forever, Maya. Why are you doing this to your mother? You made your point. Now undo the damage." Damage. That's what they called it. Not theft, not betrayal, just an inconvenience they couldn't control. I turned off my phone. I needed sleep. I needed quiet. But I didn't get either. Because at 7:03, the next morning, I stepped out of my apartment and found my welcome mat missing. At 7:05, I realized my doorbell camera had been ripped off. At 7:06, I called my building manager, who said no one reported anything suspicious. At 7:10, I unlocked my door. Trash bags torn open. Shredded mail on the floor. My baby shower favors smashed. In the middle of the mess was a note. 4 words, blocky handwriting and permanent marker. "You made your choice." I stood there for a long time. Then I called the police. The responding officer was kind but practical. "Do you have proof of who did this?" "No video," I said, "but I'm sure it was my mother." He flipped through his notepad. "Can you confirm she has access to your apartment?" "No keys," I said, "but she's picked locks before." "That got a look." "I'm filing this as trespassing and property damage," he said. "We recommend you file for a restraining order if there are more incidents." I nodded. "Not if, when?" 3 days passed. I installed a new security system, had the locks changed, bought a reinforced doorbell cam with cloud storage. And just when I thought things might finally calm down, I got called into HR. It started with whispers, the kind that follow you before you know something's wrong. People in the break room looked at me, then looked away. A coworker I was friendly with avoided eye contact. Even my manager seemed weirdly polite, like I'd suddenly become radioactive. Then the email came. Subject urgent. Ethics concern. Please come to my office immediately. Lisa Porter, HR Director. I climbed the stairs to HR with a hot ball of dread in my stomach. Lisa's office was sleek and silent. She gestured for me to sit. "We received a formal complaint," she said. Then she slid a printed email across the desk. I picked it up. My throat went dry. It was a letter, sent anonymously, but I recognized the writing. The tone, the phrases, the flair for guilt. Maya Harris has a concerning pattern of financial manipulation, exploiting family members, history of fraud, emotional instability. Do you want someone like that in your office handling sensitive data? Signed, Concerned Relative. I didn't need a DNA test to know who wrote it. My mother. Lisa studied my face. Do you want to respond? I took a breath, then pulled out my phone. I thought this might happen. I had saved everything. The fraud reports I'd filed against my mother and Natalie. Proof of the credit cards opened in my name. Screenshots of texts. Audio recordings of them admitting to using my identity to fund the engagement party. I handed over the files. Lisa scrolled through them slowly. Her face didn't change, but her shoulders did. The tension melted as she saw the truth. She looked up. Maya, we're flagging this as harassment. I'm notifying our legal department. Do you feel safe? I blinked. Not do you want to go on leave? Not let's put you under review. Do you feel safe? No, I said, not really. Do you want to file a restraining order? I paused, then nodded. Yes. The courthouse was quiet, cold. I sat across from my mother as the judge reviewed the stack of documents my lawyer had prepared. My mother looked polished like always, but she couldn't fake the panic in her eyes when the judge said, I'm granting the order. She turned to me as the bailiff stepped forward. Maya, she whispered, don't do this. I didn't, I said quietly. You did. That night, for the first time in weeks, I slept through the night. No texts, no emails, no banging on the door. Just me, a quiet apartment, and the little flutter of life in my belly. He kicked twice around midnight, almost like he was saying, you did it, Mama. But of course the peace didn't last. Not when Natalie was still out there. She hadn't shown up at court, but she had plenty to say on Instagram. Screenshots of our old baby photos. Captions like, sisters should be forever, but not everyone values blood. Her followers, most of whom didn't know what really happened, ate it up. Sending love, they wrote. Hope you're okay. She'll regret it one day. I almost replied, I almost posted my side. But then I stopped. Because silence isn't always weakness. Sometimes it's strategy. Instead, I focused on rebuilding. I moved to a new apartment, one with thicker walls and brighter light. I painted the nursery with calm colors, mint dove gray, soft yellow. I chose every item like I was planting a future I finally believed I deserved. I let myself feel excited again. About life. About being a mother. About finally being free. Then a month later, the phone rang. Unknown number. I almost declined, but something told me to answer. Hello. A pause. Then, Maya, it's Natalie. I almost hung up, but her voice stopped me. It wasn't smug, it wasn't sarcastic, it was scared. I know I'm not supposed to call, she said quickly, but I need to say something. I didn't speak. She's turning on me now, she said. I needed help with the wedding. She said I was your mess to clean up. She's telling people I forged your name. I leaned against the wall, eyes closed. I guess I just wanted you to know. I see it now, everything. You were right. I exhaled. Too late, maybe. But also finally. If you're serious, I said, prove it. I will. Click. I looked down at my belly. Felt a soft kick. My baby would never know manipulation disguised as love. He'd grow up knowing what support looked like. And as for my sister, we'd see. By the time my son arrived, I had built a new life. Not the kind you see on Instagram, no champagne toasts or curated nursery tours, but a quiet, steady life. A safe one. His name is Eli. Born on a rainy Tuesday afternoon, 7 pounds 6 ounces, and every bit of him looked like peace. The first time I held him, I cried. Not because I was overwhelmed, but because for the first time I felt chosen. Not tolerated, not used, just chosen. There was no one in the waiting room. No congratulatory flowers from my mother. No voicemail from Natalie. And that was fine. I didn't need them there. I had me, and now I had him. The weeks after Eli's birth were a blur of sleepless nights, quiet feedings, and the kind of exhaustion that makes you forget your own name. But even in the haze, I felt more grounded than I had in years. Work gave me space. My clients respected boundaries. My friends sent care packages and check-in texts. My lawyer finalized the last bit of paperwork tying up the financial mess from the engagement party fiasco. Things were good. Then 2 months in, Natalie showed up. Not a call, not a message. She showed up in person on my doorstep, hair unbrushed, no makeup, not the Natalie I knew. No designer handbag, no Instagram-ready smile. Just her, looking smaller. I didn't open the door right away. I watched her through the peephole for at least a minute. She didn't knock. Just stood there, arms wrapped around herself like she was holding her own apology. Finally, I cracked the door. She looked up, eyes glassy. "I'm not here to fight," she said. I'm tired." I didn't say anything. I called off the wedding. That got my attention. "You what?" Her voice cracked. He saw through me. Said I cared more about the picture than the partnership. Said I reminded him of someone else. She looked down. He meant Mom. I let that sink in. Then stepped aside. "Come in." She didn't cry, not really, but she talked, for hours, about how everything felt like a performance, about how our mother pushed her to be better than Maya from the time she could walk, about how the engagement party was just another script she didn't write but performed anyway. She wasn't blameless. She admitted that. She'd let herself believe she was the star and I was the understudy. "And then you walked away," she said quietly, and I realized I didn't even know how to leave the stage. I sat there holding Eli in my arms while she sat across from me, mascara smudged and truth finally spilling out. "You want forgiveness," I said. She nodded. "Then stop talking and start showing up." To her credit, she did. For weeks she came by just to help. No phone in her hand, no filters, no performative posts. Just clean bottles, rock Eli to sleep, fold baby laundry. Once I caught her just sitting on the couch watching him breathe in his bassinet with a strange look in her eyes. What I asked. She looked at me. "I never realized how much love you gave me even when Mom didn't, and how little I gave back." I didn't reply. I didn't have to. Meanwhile, my mother. Silent. After the restraining order, the harassing emails stopped. The fake voicemails, the anonymous messages. She disappeared. It should have felt like peace. But part of me stayed braced like she'd storm the gates again, armed with lawyers and lies. Instead, nothing. Until one morning I received an envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside a single photo. Natalie and me, ages 6 and 8, sitting in a garden, holding hands, both smiling like we didn't yet know how different the rules would be. On the back, one sentence in shaky cursive. "I don't know how to say sorry, but I hope you find what I couldn't give you." It wasn't signed, but I knew the handwriting, my mother's. I stared at that photo for a long time, and then I put it in a drawer. Not to forget, but to remember what came before the damage. That summer, Natalie and I did something I never imagined possible. We hosted a baby naming ceremony. Small, just a few close friends, no family drama, no speeches about tradition, just warm lights, soft music, and the people who had walked beside me during the storm. Natalie made the cookies this time. She cried when she handed them out. Not because of guilt, she told me later, just because I didn't think I'd ever be allowed to do something right again. I don't believe in sudden redemption. People don't flip like light switches. But I do believe in effort. Natalie's still figuring herself out. But for once, she's not using me as a mirror she has to outperform. She's just present, and that's more than I thought I'd ever get. One night, Eli was asleep on my chest. Natalie was on the floor folding a blanket. "I still dream about that party sometimes," she said. "About the look on your face when Mom told you it wasn't your day." I didn't respond. "I hated that version of me," she whispered. "I think I still do." I looked at her. "Then become someone you don't hate." She nodded, tears slipping silently down her cheek. And I knew in that moment she finally would. I used to think closure came with an apology. That if someone hurt you, there'd be a moment neat and wrapped where they'd realize their mistake, look you in the eye and say I was wrong. I know better now. Closure isn't always loud, or fair, or satisfying. Sometimes closure is a door you lock behind you and walk away from. It's been 7 months since Eli was born. He smiles now, big gummy grins that melt every ounce of exhaustion from my bones. He babbles when I read to him. He loves when Natalie sings off-key while changing his diaper. And me, I finally exhale when I wake up. No dread, no fire to put out, just mornings that feel like mine. Natalie still visits. Not every day, but enough. She's taking classes again. Therapy too. She told me last week she's thinking about moving out of state somewhere warmer, somewhere quieter. "You sure?" I asked. She nodded. "I think I need to find out who I am without Mom's voice in my head." I understood that more than she knew. Then came the email. Subject: Margaret Harris. Hospital admission notification. It was from a nurse. My mother's name, my old emergency contact listed from God knows when. She was in the hospital, chest pains, blood pressure issues. She was alone. I stared at the message for 10 minutes. Then I shut my laptop. I didn't reply. That night, I stood in Eli's room rocking him gently, the moonlight casting soft shadows on the wall. I remembered a time when I would have rushed to the hospital, out of guilt, out of obligation. But now, I just felt nothing. Not cruelty, Not hatred, just the calm weight of knowing I didn't owe her anything. The next day, Natalie called. "Did you hear?" I did. She paused. "Are you going?" "No." Another pause. "I went," she admitted. She looked small, weak. "I'm not surprised," I said. "She asked about you." I stayed silent. "She didn't say sorry," Natalie added quickly. "She just said she didn't expect you to come." I nodded to myself. That sounded about right. Then Natalie said, "You know, even now, she still thinks love is something you earn. Like if she gave enough pain, maybe it'd be worth something." I whispered, "But we never asked for that currency." "Exactly. I wrote a letter. Not to send. Not for her. But for me. You taught me how to survive storms, but never how to avoid them. You taught me how to work for love, but never how to receive it freely. You made me strong, but not safe. And now I will do for my child what you never did for yours. I will protect peace. I will welcome softness. I will be the mother I always needed. Goodbye." I folded the letter and placed it in Eli's memory box next to the ultrasound photo and his hospital bracelet. Because the story needed to end somewhere, and it wasn't going to be in her hospital room. A few days later, the nurse emailed again. My mother had been discharged, still alone. No follow-up messages, no apology, no drama. Just silence. And for once I didn't feel it. On Eli's first birthday, we held a small gathering in the park. Close friends. Homemade cake. Laughter that didn't cost anything. Natalie came early to help set up. She handed me a small gift, a silver bracelet. Inside a tiny inscription. "You showed me how to begin again." I smiled, tears catching me off guard. "Thank you," I whispered. "No," she said. "Thank you for not giving up on the idea of me." The sun was setting when I caught Eli playing with another toddler in the grass, giggling like the world was brand new. I sat on the bench watching him, not thinking about the pain, not replaying what happened. Just here, present, whole. My story didn't end with revenge. There were no dramatic confrontations, no public downfall, no forced apologies. And I didn't need them, because I got the only thing I ever truly wanted. A life of my own. To anyone reading this who has been used, dismissed, or forgotten by the people who were supposed to protect you, know this. You don't have to wait for their approval. You don't need their validation. And you sure as hell don't need their permission to be happy. Let them keep the party you paid for. You'll build a home they can't enter. Let them mock your joy. You'll build love that doesn't need to be earned. Let them try to rewrite your story. You'll publish your own ending. My mother tried to define my worth in silence, shame, and control. But in the end, I defined myself with boundaries, with truth, with a son who will never wonder if his voice matters, because I will always answer when he calls, and I'll never lock him out of what's his. Story 3. I never imagined that a single signature could unravel my life, but that's exactly what happened when I agreed to co-sign a loan for my younger brother Alex. He was always the charming one, the golden child who could do no wrong in our parents' eyes. Me, I was the responsible one, the fixer, the one who cleaned up his messes. It started innocently enough. Alex approached me with a business idea, claiming he needed a loan to get it off the ground. His credit was shot, so he needed me to co-sign. "It's just a formality," he said with that disarming smile. "I'll handle all the payments. You won't have to worry about a thing." I hesitated. Something felt off, but I wanted to believe him. After all, he was my brother. Family sticks together, right? So against my better judgment, I signed the papers. For the first few months, everything seemed fine. Alex assured me he was making the payments, and I had no reason to doubt him. Until the calls started coming. "Miss Thompson, your loan is 2 months past due," the bank representative informed me. I was stunned. I immediately called Alex, but he didn't answer. When he finally picked up, he brushed it off. "Relax, it's just a little late. I'll take care of it." But the calls kept coming, and Alex's excuses grew thinner. It became clear that he had no intention of paying back the loan. I was left holding the bag, facing legal action and a ruined credit score. I confronted him at his apartment, expecting remorse. Instead, I found a lavish lifestyle funded by my destroyed credit. A brand new gaming setup, designer clothes, expensive liquor. None of it screamed financial hardship. When I demanded answers, he had the audacity to say, "You agreed to it." That was the final straw. In a fit of rage, I smashed his precious PlayStation. Only then did he take me seriously, transferring the first payment to the bank the next day. But the damage was done. I was left to pick up the pieces of my financial life, while Alex continued to live without consequence. And our parents, they scolded me for breaking his things, not him for breaking my trust. This was just the beginning. The real fallout was yet to come. After I shattered Alex's PS5, I expected some sort of wake-up call for him. Maybe not a full-on transformation, but at least some accountability. He did make one payment to the bank the next morning. I stared at the transaction screenshot he sent like it was a foreign language. I couldn't believe it until the bank confirmed it. But I wasn't celebrating. That payment didn't erase the stress, the sleepless nights, or the damage to my credit score. And it certainly didn't restore the trust he'd stomped all over. I told my parents everything, sent them screenshots of the bank notices, the court letters, the texts where Alex promised he'd take care of it, and even a photo of the demolished PlayStation. I expected a moment of silence, maybe shock, or even just a wow, we didn't know. What I got instead, Emma, did you really have to break his things? That came from my mom with the tone she usually saved for when I was caught swearing as a teenager. She wasn't angry at Alex, she was disappointed in me. Me, the only reason Alex had gotten away with so much for so long. He's your brother, she added. Like that somehow made him less accountable. Like family meant immunity from consequences. I didn't say a word, I simply blocked her number. It felt like cutting an umbilical cord I hadn't realized was still attached. A few days passed, no calls, no drama. I started to feel a little lighter even if my credit score was still in the basement. Then of course Alex texted. Alex, hey, so we're cool now, right? Cool, I had to reread it twice. I blocked him too. I thought that was the end of it. It wasn't, not even close. The family freakout. 2 days later, I got a call from Mom again. This time I picked up not out of curiosity, but to shut things down once and for all. Emma, what did you do to your brother? Her voice wasn't just disappointed. It was frantic, like I'd committed some unspeakable act of betrayal. What did I do? I repeated, stunned. Do you want the list? Your brother said you scared him. You stormed into his apartment, broke his PlayStation. Yeah, I snapped. After he lied to me, took out a loan in my name, never paid a cent, and let me get sued. He said he was going to pay it eventually. And I said I wasn't going to wait around and be bled dry in the meantime. There was a pause. He's been under a lot of stress, she said weakly. I almost laughed. We've all been under stress, Mom. But not all of us lie, manipulate, and ruin someone else's life to deal with it. She sighed. He's your brother. And that's the last reason I'll ever do anything for him again, I said and hung up. The faux apology. A week later, I got another message from Alex, but instead of pretending nothing had happened, he tried a different tactic. Alex, can we talk? Just meet me for coffee, please? A smarter version of me would have deleted the message on sight, but the naive part, the one that still wanted my little brother to be something more than a leech, hesitated. I said yes. We met at a cafe near my office. He looked clean-cut, put together. Nervous even. Look, he started fiddling with the sleeve of his cup. I know I messed up. Keep going, I said. And I get why you're mad. But he paused, then looked me straight in the eye. You have to admit you kind of overreacted. My laugh was sharp-cutting. You ruined my credit and almost got me sued. I broke your overpriced toy. And you think I'm the one who overreacted? It was limited edition, he mumbled. And you bought it instead of paying off the loan. You know what else was limited? My patience. People were starting to look. I didn't care. He dropped the humble act. Okay, you made your point, but you don't have to cut me off. I do actually. You made it very easy. He scowled. You're just going to abandon me? No, Alex. You abandoned me when you decided that your PlayStation was more important than my financial stability. I stood up and walked out. Aftershocks. The next few weeks were blissfully quiet. Ryan was silent. Mom occasionally sent voicemails full of sighs and biblical references. I ignored them all. My credit was still bruised, but it was recovering. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was someone's emergency backup plan. Then just when I thought it was truly over, I got a call from Mom. Emma, she said breathlessly, your brother lost his apartment. I blinked. How? He fell behind on rent. The landlord evicted him. I didn't respond. Well, she continued, he's been crashing with a friend, but it's not working out. I was hoping maybe you could let him stay with you, just for a little while. I actually laughed. Mom, did you seriously just say that? He has nowhere else to go. So let him stay with you. There was silence. Your father? Well, he's not comfortable with that. So it's okay to dump him on me. You have a spare room. No, I said flatly, not anymore. Emma. No, Mom? Ryan needs to learn what happens when there are consequences. You've enabled him his whole life. I won't. And I hung up. The uninvited guest. The next night I came home from work to find someone in my apartment. You guessed it, Alex. He was eating my leftovers, wearing one of my hoodies. I stared. How did you get in here? He smiled. Mom gave me your spare key. I dropped my bag. Get out. Come on, he whined. It's just for a few nights. No, you don't live here. You're serious. Dead serious. Leave now. You're unbelievable, he muttered, grabbing his bag. No, Alex, you are. He slammed the door behind him. I locked it. Then the next day, I had the locks changed. After changing the locks, I truly believed I had closed the last chapter of my very unfortunate saga with Alex. I was wrong, because if there's one thing my brother never learned, it's how to take a loss with grace. He wasn't just mad I kicked him out, he was embarrassed. And Alex doesn't do embarrassment. No, when he can't control the narrative, he changes it. If he couldn't use me anymore, he was going to make sure everyone thought I was the villain. And where better to rewrite history than social media? The Facebook post that started it all. It was a Tuesday. I remember because I was halfway through my second cup of coffee when my phone buzzed with a message from my friend Chloe. Have you seen what your brother posted? My stomach sank. I hadn't spoken to Alex in weeks. I assumed he was licking his wounds somewhere else. I opened the link. There it was, a full-blown Facebook manifesto, complete with vague sadness and strategic half-truths. It read, "It's painful when your own family turns their back on you. I've made mistakes, sure, but I never thought my own sister would throw me out on the street when I needed her the most. Some people let money change them. I just needed love, not judgment." And the comments, a goldmine of sympathy. "You deserve better, Alex. Shame on your sister. Blood is supposed to be thicker than water. Money changes people. Stay strong." Oh, and my favorite, my mom's comment. "We love you, baby. Some people forget the meaning of family, but we never will." I stared at the screen, my heart racing. Not because I was upset they were talking about me, but because I knew this was a deliberate setup. He wanted people to rally around him. He wanted to paint me as the cold, rich sister who abandoned him during a crisis. I put my phone down and decided not to respond. Let them believe what they wanted. But Alex, he wasn't done. The anonymous attack. 2 days later, I got a call from my landlord. "Hey, Emma, just a heads up. We got an anonymous report that you're subletting your place illegally." What, I nearly dropped my phone. "It's probably nothing," he added quickly. "We know your lease is clean, but someone filed it with management anonymously. No evidence, just a claim." "Do you have the number?" I asked. "Blocked. No caller ID. Sorry." I didn't need confirmation. It had Alex written all over it. After all, he couldn't stay in my apartment, so now he was trying to make sure I couldn't either. I thanked my landlord for the heads up and ended the call. My fingers were shaking, but not from fear, from rage. I grabbed my phone and sent one final message. "Me. I know you called my landlord. I know you're trying to make trouble. You've crossed the line, Alex. If you ever contact me again or pull another stunt, I will involve the police. You are out of my life. Permanently." He read it, didn't reply. That was the best thing he's done in years. Mom's meltdown again. Of course, silence from Alex doesn't mean silence from Mom. 2 days later, she called. I ignored it. Then a text came through. "Emma, you need to fix this. Your brother is devastated." Fix what exactly? The boundaries I finally built. Later that night, she left a voicemail. Her voice was quivering. "You were always the responsible one. I don't understand what happened to you." I almost replied. I almost explained again in excruciating detail everything her golden son had done. But what would be the point? She'd never hear it, not from me, not when her mind was made up. I deleted the voicemail and blocked her number again. The fake friend. The next hit came from a number I didn't recognize. "Hey, you don't know me, but I'm a friend of Alex's. What you did to him is disgusting. How do you sleep at night knowing you left your brother homeless?" Wow. Homeless. He wasn't homeless. He just wasn't allowed to freeload in my apartment anymore. I replied once. "Me, don't contact me again." Blocked. I had a feeling he was fishing for someone to deliver his revenge. But I wasn't about to be baited. The worst blow yet. Just when I thought it couldn't get worse, it did. A week later, a colleague at work sent me a message with a screenshot. It was a Reddit post titled, "My sister ruined my life because she's rich and heartless." The story was a twisted version of our situation. Full of lies, full of half-truths, and fully public. Thousands of upvotes, hundreds of comments, all trashing me. She's what's wrong with the world. Entitled siblings with money are the worst. He's better off without her. And one particularly brutal comment, "If that was my sister, I'd go no contact too." Disgusting behavior. The post didn't mention me by name, but the details were close enough for anyone who knew us to figure it out. I felt sick. I wanted to scream, to defend myself, to go on the same platform and drop receipts, bank statements, the court notice, photos of his $300 whiskey, but I didn't. because then I'd be giving him what he wanted: attention. I took a walk instead, cleared my head, and when I got home, I did something even better than revenge. The final move. I sat down and made a list of every place Alex might still have access to: emails, shared cloud storage, old family contact lists. I locked everything down. New passwords, new locks, new boundaries. And just for good measure, I wrote up a cease and desist letter. No, I didn't send it. Not yet. But it was ready. Signed, sealed, and resting on my desk like a quiet warning. Try me again, and this time I'll hit back where it hurts. For the first time in years, I wasn't afraid of what Alex might do next, because I finally knew that no matter what happened, I wouldn't let him pull me down again. Alex disappeared from my radar for a while after my final warning. I expected him to either lash out harder or go completely quiet. He chose the latter for a time. Weeks passed with no drama. No anonymous reports, no guilt-tripping voicemails from mom, no smear posts from fake Reddit accounts. It felt like calm after a hurricane. I focused on my own life again. My credit score started healing. I finally took a weekend trip with friends without panicking about money. I even started sleeping through the night without dreaming about overdue notices or court papers. Life was starting to feel mine again. But as always, the quiet didn't last. Because Alex doesn't do endings. He does cliffhangers, and he was about to throw one last scene into my peaceful life. The emergency. It was a rainy Friday. I was home, curled up on the couch, wine in hand, ready to binge the show I'd been putting off for months. My phone buzzed with a number I didn't recognize. Normally I'd ignore it, but something told me to answer. "Hello, Emma," a voice cracked on the other end. It wasn't Alex, it was Kelly, his ex-girlfriend. We'd spoken maybe 3 times ever, usually awkwardly at family events, when she still had the energy to pretend we were all one big happy clan. We hadn't talked since she broke up with Alex, which I'd internally applauded. "Hey, Kelly," I asked, confused. "What's going on?" She didn't beat around the bush. "I wouldn't be calling you if I wasn't desperate, but you need to know what Alex is doing." That sentence hit like a brick. "What now?" She took a breath. "He's trying to file a fraud complaint against you." I blinked. "Excuse me? He's saying you used his identity to take out a loan, that you're framing him for your own debt." I actually laughed. I thought it might be a joke, but Kelly didn't laugh back. "I overheard him talking to someone about it. Said if you're going to destroy his life, he might as well return the favor." I froze. Because now it wasn't just Facebook posts or texts or harassment. He was trying to destroy me legally. "Why are you telling me this?" I asked quietly. "Because I'm done watching him ruin everyone he touches. You don't deserve this, Emma. You tried to help him." My voice wavered. "Thanks for telling me." She hung up. And just like that, the final line was crossed. The legal counterstrike. The next morning, I made a call to a lawyer friend, Aaron, who owed me a favor from years ago. I explained everything. The loan, the unpaid debt, the threats, the social media campaign, and now the fraud accusation. Aaron listened in silence. "Emma, I'll be honest," he said. "You have enough here to take legal action. You want to go that far?" I didn't even hesitate. "Yes." "Good. Because if this guy files false claims against you, we're not just shutting him down, we're making sure it never happens again." Within 48 hours, Aaron filed a preemptive declaration complete with all the loan paperwork, texts, and payment confirmations that proved Alex had agreed to everything. It wasn't just a defense, it was a warning. And just like that, the tables turned. Alex's final play. Maybe Alex sensed it. Maybe Kelly tipped him off. But within a week of filing that paperwork, I got one last message from him. Just a text. "You really want to destroy your own brother over this? I've got nothing left, Emma. Congratulations." I didn't reply. The next day, Mom called. I knew I shouldn't answer, but something in me, it might have been curiosity or some final trace of old guilt, made me pick up. "Emma," she said. Her voice was flat, tired. Not angry this time, just hollow. "Alex is leaving town." I said nothing. "He says he's done, that we all turned our backs on him." I laughed bitterly. He turned his back on reality. There was silence. Then she asked the question I knew was coming. "Do you still hate him?" I closed my eyes. "I don't hate him, Mom, but I'm done sacrificing my life to save someone who never wanted to be saved." She didn't argue, for once. "I just thought you should know." Then she hung up. The aftermath. Alex left. Vanished from the city. No one knew where he went, not even Mom. One of his old friends said he was crashing in someone's basement 2 states away. No job, no stability. Still refusing to take any accountability. I didn't care. Because for the first time in my life, I didn't carry that weight. I didn't check in. I didn't feel responsible. I let the story end. Healing. It's been 5 months since that final message. 5 months since I stopped hearing Alex's name in every conversation. 5 months since I stopped holding my breath every time my phone buzzed. And in that time, something amazing happened. I started living. I finished redecorating my apartment, finally turning that spare room into a home office instead of a crash pad for my brother's latest disaster. I took a solo trip, saw the ocean, slept in, smiled. My credit score. It's climbing. My savings slowly recovering. But more than that, I don't feel scared anymore. The lesson. Here's what no one tells you about toxic family dynamics. They don't just drain your wallet. They drain your joy, your sleep, your peace, your future. They make you second-guess your boundaries. They teach you that love means sacrifice no matter the cost. But it doesn't. Love isn't about being a safety net for someone who cuts the ropes. Love doesn't mean sacrificing your sanity so someone else can keep living recklessly. Real love. Healthy love means mutual respect, accountability, effort. Alex never gave me any of that, but for years I gave him everything. And when I finally stopped, I got my life back.